I'm Dr. Saima Khan. I am member of the Pakistan Economic Forum, and I'm at the same time head of the Department of Global Studies at the Institute of Global and Historical Studies at Government College University, Lahore, which is one of the very first type kind of the department in Pakistan. And thanks to Dr. Asghar Zaidi, he was the one who accepted this proposal of this department as well. But right now, I'm speaking on behalf of Pakistan Economic Forum. Pakistan Economic Forum is one of the largest organizations who is promoting any research in any area which touches upon economic impacts or any area which is relevant to social development but has economic benefits as well. So it's not hardcore economics, but it is touching upon multiple other aspects as well. And it is connected with 120 institutes within Pakistan and national as well as abroad. They're playing the role to academia and institutes how universities can be linked with industries, which is very important and pertinent today. And this is what we would be talking right now. So this platform is for the students, institutes, universities to uplift Pakistan. And I've already introduced Irfan Hussain Khan Sahab, who is founder of this particular organization. We can share the link of this organization later on with you. Now let's come back to our guest, our esteemed guest, to whom everybody wants to listen, Professor Dr. Asghar Zaidi. मुझे कोई भी वैसे तारुफ करवाने की जरूरत तो नहीं है. He has been working so much. People have been listening about him. People have been knowing about him. But Professor Dr. Zaidi, he has special he has he is specialist in economics, but at the same time the dimension of economics which he touches upon is really very interesting, which interests me a lot as well. He talks about the elderly of Pakistan, what struggles they're having, be it economic or social, a very good qualitative research within the economic paradigm he has conducted. And then he has been very, very effective academician, a very visionary academician. Nowadays, he's provost in UMT. Before that, he was from 2019 to 2023. He was vice chancellor of Government College University, Lahore. He within his era, multiple new departments were opened, looking at the international demand of education. And because this whole scenario, this higher education scenario, this is very much under waters nowadays. एक इमेज क्रिएट हो रहा है कि शायद हायर एजुकेशन की अब जरूरत नहीं है और सिर्फ स्किल की जरूरत है. बट एट द सेम टाइम हमारे पास सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स हैं जहां पे हमें बात की जा रही है कि एजुकेशन शुड बी फॉर एवरीवन. सो इस किस्म के तमाम क्वेश्चंस जो हमारे माइंड में आते हैं कि व्हाट रोल एजुकेशन कैन प्ले विद इन दिस पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमिक अपलिफ्ट या पाकिस्तान की बेहतरी के लिए, इसी सिलसिले में ये सेमिनार हमने ऑर्गेनाइज किया है. एंड हु एल्स कुड बी बेटर देन स्पीकिंग ऑन इकोनॉमिक्स एंड हायर एजुकेशन देन प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर असगर जैदी. तो आई वेलकम यू सर.
Thank you so much.
I would, before that, I would like to have a little of your opinion about this particular topic. That how do you find this topic to discuss as a seminar on?
Let me start by thanking Irfan Hussain for establishing such an enviable foundation. It needs to be. It needs to provide. It has started providing a platform for discussions, for sharing opinions, how we can go about bringing economic reforms and what different sectors might play a role. So my today's talk would be focusing on the higher education sector and basically arguing that this is one of the most important sector for strategic investment in our youth so that they could become very productive, work-ready individuals to contribute to Pakistan's economy. So basically, you could say that we will be talking about the investment in education and its benefits and the challenges we will be facing, challenges we are facing now, and the challenges we could face in bringing about a reform in raising our education standards so that we could meet the demands of the evolving labor market. Uh, so I'm really happy to talk about it. Most of my discussion would be about highlighting the importance of higher education, but education as a whole is important. Of course, higher education rests on the pillars of college education and school education. And in many cases, we say our hands have been tied because of the low quality that we receive in our universities. But on the other hand, we get to work with a student for 4 years in a university. So we absolutely will have lots of chance to train them, to upskill them, to offer them curriculum, to offer them teaching in a manner that they become very productive members or productive graduates entering into the labor market. So
Thank you,
that's
sir.
what I want to say. Dr. Saima,
Hmm.
thank you so much
Thank you, sir.
for asking me to give me this opportunity, and thank you, Irfan. I hope I would be able to contribute to your good work in the future as well.
Inshallah, sir. Okay, before we embark on the question answer session, मैं थोड़ा सा फॉर्मेट बता देती हूँ. हम सर से पहले कुछ क्वेश्चन आंसर्स करेंगे, linking higher education and economic benefits and how academia can contribute to that. Question answer session हम सबसे आखिर में करेंगे. If you have some questions, you keep on putting them on in the chat box, and in the end of the session, हम वो क्वेश्चन आंसर्स कर देंगे. इन केस अगर मेरी इंटरनेट थोड़ी बहुत इधर उधर हो जाएगी तो इरफान हुसैन साहब संभाल लेंगे इसको. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर, क्योंकि आपको पता है पाकिस्तान की इंटरनेट बहुत फास्ट है. तो हम लेट्स स्टार्ट विद इट. तो सर मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो कि आई थिंक वी ऑल टीचर्स, वी ऑल एकेडमिक्स आर आस्किंग, और मेरे ख्याल में पूरी दुनिया ही पूछ रही है कि पाकिस्तान में हायर एजुकेशन के सेक्टर के क्या चैलेंजेस है. वी नो बजट के चैलेंजेस तो बहुत हैं, बट उसके
Mm-hmm.
अलावा as a senior academic, and then you know being provost and then vice chancellor, and then who has studied from abroad and taught abroad, आपका क्या ख्याल है? What are the challenges?
Thank you. I think first and foremost challenge is the quality of education that we offer in our universities. To start with, there is uneven quality offered across institutions. So you have top level institutions, but you have also mediocre institutions. So this unevenness of quality is affecting everybody because there is the general impression that the graduates coming from Pakistani universities are not up to the level in terms of skill, in terms of scientific knowledge base. So I would say first and foremost, the standout challenge that Pakistan's higher education is facing is to enhance the quality, enhance the reputation of our university education, and that requires not just uh, updating curricula, but also, in my view, the most important aspect would be the faculty development. We need to hire and retain better quality faculty, and we have to continue to train them for their professional growth. So that's the first and foremost challenge. Then there is this disconnect between education, the formal education, and the industry. So it seems that even our best graduates are not work ready. So we miss out on training them in a manner that they, along with with the science that they are studying, the theories they are studying, which are important in their own right. They need to be work ready. They need to have skills. And labor market is changing so fast that majority of our educational institutions are failing to catch up with that labor market. For instance, now labor market, just giving one example, and everybody is talking about it, is labor market is looking for graduates who are aware of artificial intelligence, its usage, and to what extent actually higher education institutions, with the exception of few, are integrating artificial intelligence in their subjects. Yes, the computer science students do study that, so they go to the market AI ready. But what I'm saying is that even mathematics, economics, statistics, they should all study artificial intelligence, not just for cheating in the exams or in the essay writing, but actually updating their productivity. So that they are ready for the demands that the employers would be putting on them. So I would say these two major aspects. Of course, lack of funding, and funding in particular for research is a major deal, but we will talk about it some other. So that is what I would say is the challenge, and we really need, if we want to have a brighter economic future, there is no other way but to reform education sector, higher education sector, so that we could provide well-trained graduates for our labor market, who then would provide very productive contribution to the economy.
Thank you, sir. Coming from these challenges in higher education, economic challenges are also very, very important. और पाकिस्तान में दोनों ही challenges चल रहे हैं.
जी
So,
जी.
अब पाकिस्तान में ये economic challenges को, how would you, go about that? What would you say about that? How would you refer to that? और इसको फिर strategic investment और education sector के साथ भी आप इसको जरा link करिएगा. Because nowadays what I have seen कि हमारे जो बच्चे हैं वो पढ़ना भी चाहते हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम स्किल की तरफ भी बहुत जा रहे हैं, और उसकी वजह से कभी कभी खाइफ भी हो जाते हैं पढ़ाई की तरफ से. सो हाउ वुड वी एड्रेस दिस?
First question is about what economic challenges we are facing, or what challenges Pakistan's economy is facing. And let me say, where do I start? We can go on and on, but let me pick 4 or 5 which basically are restricting our investment for development. One is the fiscal deficit, because fiscal deficit, and this has been going on forever, has been constraining government's budgets. We are not able to spare as much resources towards development as desired, because of the fact that and fiscal deficit is just basically mismatch of what we have as revenues in the system as opposed to what we spend, and most of our spending ended up being unproductive spending. So that's one challenge. Then high inflation, eroding purchasing power. That's the second problem. So, and most of the welfare-related issues are linked to high inflation. Salaries are not going through that kind of growth as the price growth, and people are becoming poorer and poorer. Then we have this large external debt that basically honoring the payments of that debt are reducing our funds for investment for longer term development projects. We don't have enough money after all the honoring of the payment requirements of external debts to start sparing money for longer term goals of investment in the economy. So external debt is the third problem. I think mother of all is the political instability, which in particular affects the foreign direct investment. So many people don't come to Pakistan for investment reasons, despite the fact that they see great opportunities because of they see great economic opportunities, but they also see a political instability, which affects their decisions of foreign investment in Pakistan. Then there is a whole range of other crises, in particular, let's say, energy crisis, and that affects our productivity as well as global competitiveness. Sorry, I'm using very techie economics terms. So forgive me if audience don't know these economic terms. But basically, because of high energy cost and because of disruptions, the productivity gets affected. And economists know that everything is about productivity, productivity enhancement, productivity competitiveness across the countries. So these are five aspects that I think, but of course, also, as we talked in the beginning, education sector is another challenge because it is lacking that capacity of human capital formation, and it's not quite providing us the innovations that one needs for continued economic progress. So education sector being the engine of the human capital that you have in the country, it needs to really come out of trenches and start performing if we want to go towards the goal of sustainable future progress in our economy. You are unmute. You need to unmute. It's a classic mistake.
Yes, exactly. We haven't, until now come up with those online meetings yet. Anyways, I was saying that we have some questions. I will come to those a little later. But before that, I would like to ask the questions. I would club these questions which are being asked in chat box later on. And prefer my questions first. So these are the challenges which you have to. Now, who would put up with these challenges? Who are those agents who are going to bring in the change? And how would they bring in these changes? What do you think? And what do you suggest?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Because whenever we talk about policy reforms, we need to identify policy instruments. We need to identify agents of change. And first and foremost, of course, the university leadership, people like myself. We are responsible. We are the agents of change. We need to day in, day out argue advances in curriculum, better teaching and learning methods, better assessment methods, better incentives for good quality research, research that is producing societal impact. So the first agent of change is university leadership. The second set of agents are public policy makers. And we can talk about what they can do. But you can think about regulating mechanisms which public policy can come up with. Government can come up with longer term sustained investment in kind of research that would lead to better products. So that's the second set of agents of change. The third is, of course, industry, which is the one that is taking on our graduates. So linking university production, which is we produce graduates, good, well-trained graduates. Industry take it up, benefit from the good work that we have done in the industry sector, They become the agent of change of continuing to investing in them and making them more productive and benefiting from their knowledge. And then on the whole, there is the third agent, which is the public policy agent, that the policies provide a coherent framework within which um, the university leadership has been incentivized to make investment and into the graduates, and industry has been incentivized to continue coming up with research and development, innovation, and enhancement in employment. So public policy is very important, and we can talk about it in a minute. But let's the first agent of change, which is university leadership. I think they need to do three things at a priority. One is the investing in more infrastructure and funds for research. And by that, I mean labs, I mean research centers, like you mentioned, Institute of Global and Historical Studies in government college universities. So that kind of research centers, um, they need to provide digital infrastructure. They need to um, provide all opportunities for cutting edge research that could produce um, products for or innovations for the economy, so that we could become more competitive in the global world. We could do import substitution, so we start producing those products in the country that we are importing, and we could also do export promotion, and that would bring better foreign reserves. It would improve fiscal deficits. It would help us get rid of our external debt. So that's the first thing, infrastructure and funds for research. The second is universities really must invest in providing better linkages with the industry. So while we have students for 4 years in the university, we need to find how we connect them to research and development labs of the industry, how we can say that the curriculum in the university could be revised in consultation with industry partners. So a lot that can be done to improve this industry academia linkages. The third, I think, the first agent of change, which is university leadership, the third policy instrument they can use is startup ecosystem and innovation. So this is, we're talking about where we are incentivizing innovations, we are incubating it, we are accelerating it, and our young graduates often have excellent ideas, but they don't find enough support from the university for an early growth. And if we look at some of the countries which have been really good in linking education, good education sector led to good economy, and I'm talking about South Korea, Malaysia, Turkey, and of course China, that these are countries that they provide us great examples how good innovative work at the universities led to developments in the economy, which led to economic progress. And lots of universities, especially in South Korea and Turkey, we come across the technology centers where students and others were encouraged to come up with startup ideas and get a sort of a roof and facilities to continue for acceleration. So we need that. I think I would add another aspect, given the current state of education affairs in Pakistan, that there should be more international collaboration. We should be better in global studies, in understanding what the world is doing and how could we do better to connect with them, how could we do better to connect with the global challenges that we are facing. And I'm I know, Dr. Saima, that's a topic close to your heart. Again, you have to unmute it.
Yes, very close, sir. Very close. Very close to
Indeed.
my heart, definitely.
So I would say these are the policy instruments, but I can also talk about role of policymakers. I mean, one absolutely essential move that the public policymakers have to do is to provide long-term funding for universities. So it's not that from one year to the next, we are not aware of what would next year hold. So they need to provide so that we could start investing in longer-term research projects and not just look for an immediate um, reward from that research, but actually build on it so that we could come up with better output, better rewards. And of course, public policy makers, they are the regulators in the form of Higher Education Commission. Government is regulating our performance and in the education sector. So a lot of regulation is required for continued quality assurance from the university, and continued connection between universities and industries. And also regulations for joint ventures between industries and universities so they could come up with joint projects, which would... I tell you a story. I was appointed as professor in Seoul National University, South Korea, back in 2018. And I went there, in my first week, I went from one building to the next. I was introduced to several different people. And these were traditional university buildings, but behind them were large glass buildings. And I kept asking, what are those glass buildings? What are they doing here in this classical, traditional university setting? And I was told they are part of the R&D departments of different industries. They have their buildings, their R&D offices in the university. And the big benefit a university gets from it is that all the students have clear association with the industry because they just have to move from one building to the next, especially postgraduate students. They were able to actually discuss their research ideas in advance of them being presented in the academic setting. And the day they finish their graduation, the next day they are sitting in the R&D department of the industry. So that kind of linkage is required if we want to continue. So R&D, so the industry and the education sector will have to have a joint vision towards products and services that would be offering import substitution and a great export promotion. And that I remember Siemens, what's this mobile phone? They had a R&D department, as well as the auto vehicles had their R&D department in Seoul in the university. So that kind of policymakers and industries. Going back to universities' role, I think one aspect that we also need to do is to come up with a kind of curricular update and the training in the teaching methods, and offering additional courses so that we could reduce this mismatch between academia and what we are teaching in academia and what is being in demand by the employers. So lots of our graduates are unemployed, but at the same time, you talk to employers and they say, oh, there is a lot of opportunities available, but we don't find people who are skilled to take that. Universities have to do career counseling. University have to do better alumni connection, job fairs, lots of these things. You will remember, Dr. Saima, we were doing that them in Government College University. And the idea was that the student during the studies start getting signals from the industry, what industry is looking for.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I would add on a little whatever you have discussed and whatever you have all the information, the huge information we have got. I have a question from that. Whenever we talk about industry and whenever we talk about academia industry linkages, we always get to think of sciences and we ignore humanities and social sciences subjects. And most of the time, when even students are getting admission, they always question us, what job would we get from a social sciences degree? So would you like to reflect a little upon कि सोशल साइंसेज की डिग्री भी एकेडेमिया का जो पार्ट है ह्यूमैनिटीज सोशल साइंसेज वो भी इंडस्ट्री से इट कैन लिंक टू अस so even if it is a hardcore scientific technological industry, is there any room for social sciences degree? What do you say about that?
Absolutely. Social science has, and I would go even further and say not just social science, but humanities have a great place in the modern labor market. And in fact, only recently I've written an article on how important it is to continue promoting social sciences and humanities in the universities because of this material benefit associated with technology subjects or science subjects. We are missing out on the skills that everybody appreciates, which are skills of better analysis of the situation and skills of critical evaluation, skills of having a perspective, a historical and cultural perspective in the learning. So I'm a great fan of even introducing study of social sciences and humanities in the subjects in the undergraduate programs of sciences and technology.
Yes.
So it is important in its right. Though that said, I would also like to think that given how fast we are moving towards artificial intelligence, we need to teach more better usage of artificial intelligence in social science subjects as well as in humanities.
I ask this question because, again, it's very close to my heart. Like global studies is social sciences degree, talking about science and social sciences and how local and global is connected. I would also like you to reflect upon this a little, that how these new programs, particularly like global studies, which is linking local, global, and social sciences, humanities with sciences, how important are these?
एब्सोल्युटली क्रिटिकल जी। देखिए, जब तक हमें पता नहीं चलेगा कि हमारे जो कंपेटिटर्स हैं या हमने जहाँ पर अपने जाके प्रोडक्ट्स जो हैं या सर्विसेज या ऑफर करनी है, उनकी डायनामिक्स क्या हैं, उनकी कॉजेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट क्या हैं, उनके पॉलिसीज क्या हैं, हम अपने बच्चों को गाइड नहीं कर पा सकेंगे कि जो है किस तरीके से वो जाकर उस दुनिया से compete कर रहे हैं। चाहे वो पाकिस्तान में ही रहे बच्चे, लेकिन दे शुड बी well educated in challenges, global challenges, as well as in global studies. So I think the program that we are offering in global studies program, global studies department that you're heading, is extremely critical. And I remember it's very interdisciplinary. So it's not just social sciences. You talk about climate change and you talk about, for instance, the sources of climate change and how it links with the political system, etc. So we need to sort of act local but think global, in the sense that we need to really enhance our skill set or enhance the skill set of our students, thinking what global world they will be competing with, even if they live here in Pakistan or they go abroad for further studies and study there and work there.
Thank you, sir. Linking this very important point with the next question, that we should think global and act local, and we should be relevant and pertinent. Now, you have given examples of South Korea, China, and all these countries which are very much emerging. Um, इस सारे सिनेरियो में, ये ग्लोबल सिनेरियो में, there are countries who have enough funding, enough resources. How can our education institute evolve to stay relevant in this labor market? Relevance is very
Oh,
important, and this is how we can generate economy. So how can they stay relevant?
I mean, all what we talked about, all these different curricula update, better pedagogical skills of the faculty and the students being upskilled, student being ready. But if I were to sort of look towards the future, and I'm not looking into future of many decades ahead, I'm just thinking of this decade till 2030. Next 5 years, almost every other aspect in the labor market would be affected by or would be triggered by artificial intelligence. So we need to, on urgent basis, come up with AI integration in our curriculum, in our teaching, in our assessment. And this is not just for AI graduates, but actually graduates of all sectors. Even those who are in the social sciences or humanity, they have to study that. So I like to think that this AI readiness, in fact, one of my purpose here at UMT is to develop a, a, a setup in which every department, every faculty member would be trained to use AI tools so that they could upgrade their curriculum. They could also have better pedagogical skills to teach, and they could do better assessment. And students will be encouraged to use those AI tools, not to be punished for using them. And the system would evolve in a manner in which AI would become a personalized tutor to our students. So that would be a supplement to what they will be taught by the faculty. And also, in particular, AI tutor would be helpful for those who are often left behind in the classwork. We all studied in classes where some of us were very good at chasing our teachers and asking questions, and but majority of the class, even if they did not understand what was going on in that lecture, they would be left behind. And next lecture, they are struggling even more because they were behind in the previous lecture. So this AI tutor would actually help in particularly those who otherwise would be below average students. Their productivity would be enhanced with the help of AI tutors. So I'm looking forward to that time where we would be offering bespoke lessons. So if you don't understand a concept, you ask that tutor, I don't understand what is marginal returns, marginal productivity concepts, and that AI tutor would explain what it is. And then you say, no, that's too difficult. I really don't understand. Come down to a lower level. And then the same concept would be explained in a much easier terminology. So that is the world we are heading to. And we need to be, and also the employers are looking not just anybody, they are looking for all those who have subject knowledge, but they
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
also have a knowledge of the AI tools to be able to, yeah. Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. Sir, again, there's a branch of question from it, although it was a last question and we have so many questions lining up. But I would just like to have a little question over here. A very brief answer would be sufficient. When we're talking about artificial intelligence and all these, the way you have talked, that it's something very, really, very important, students should know this thing. There are so many researchers over here, the audience, the people who are listening to you. Uh, how AI is helping, like for instance, cutting down the cost of copy editor, and how this AI is linking in research like it is linking academia and industry and this economic betterment through this through this AI cutting down cost, increasing the amount, how we will get the money. How is this so?
Okay. Let me think if I understood your question. Uh, or let me respond this manner and you tell me whether I've responded to your question. AI is a tool that enhances your productivity. So you and me now could do so many things more effectively, much more speedily than we were able to do before. So this is a welcome development. It's not a problem development. It's something. AI also helps us cover those areas which otherwise we didn't have anybody to teach us. So very often we go to the AI and ask a terminology that otherwise we would not be able to understand. And then we ask AI tools, ChatGPT, could you explain it more succinctly or easily in easier terminology? And it does it. So AI is a productivity enhancing tool, and we should welcome that. AI also raises the levels of those who otherwise would be left behind. So if we are able to develop the kind of tools that I was talking about, then AI would be a 24-hour tutor for each subject we are teaching here at the university. So I say I'm a student and I attended a class, I just could not focus at that time, or the level was much too strong. I go back and say, in today's lecture, I came across these terms. I don't understand about these terms. You can say that in Urdu, you can say that in Punjabi, Saraiki, whichever language you are comfortable with. So that happens. And then that AI tutor is your buddy and explaining you those terms. So it's a productivity enhancement tool, and we should welcome it and we should benefit from it. We should not shy from the fact that people will say, oh, we cheated, or we when I first bought a calculator, I remember my dad telling me, you're cheating because you have to learn, और वो क्या था, पहाड़े सारे याद करने हैं. ये क्या कर रहे हो तुम, कि तुम ये कैलकुलेटर से जमा तफरीक कर रहे हो. Or now you see calculator is just part and parcel of some of our calculations, and nobody says we are cheating. So it's the same. It's a productivity enhancement tool. We will make use of it. We will become more productive. Those who will not make use of it will be left behind, and they will regret it. So it should be embraced.
I think there's a network issue from Dr. Sama Khan. From my sides, we have a lot of students there. और एक बड़ा एक कॉमन हमें एक क्वेश्चन नजर आता है कि जो आज का हमारा जो बच्चा है, यू रियली वेरी कंफ्यूज, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, इवन जिस तरह आपने यू हैव told some factor like there is some economic issue, there is some political instabilities, or even we got number of reports from recently पाइड ने भी एक पब्लिश की थी कि यहाँ से भाग जा, मुल्क से भाग जा, मतलब the term, or even you can see that there is a lot of rush in different embassies के वहाँ पे number of स्कॉलरशिप्स और लोग धड़ धड़ बाहर जा रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स। और तो इस अनसर्टेनिटी में आप जो हमारा आज का यूथ है, आई एम सो वरीड अबाउट द चिल्ड्रन दैट हु इज बोर्न आफ्टर द 2000, जो 2001 में पैदा हुआ, अब वो ग्रेजुएट के फर्स्ट सेकंड,
जनरेशन अल्फा
या
और
या बिल्कुल।
जनरेशन
तो वो बच्चा एक तो इमोशनली बहुत एक सेंसिटिव, बड़ा पैम्पर्ड भी है, बड़ा इमोशनल भी है। और वो तो उसके लिए क्या आप मैसेज करेंगे कि वो बच्चा कैसे सरवाइव करे इस अनसर्टेनिटी में, एक डिप्लोमेटिक अनसर्टेनिटी में? इट्स रियली वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि
या
उसकी सर्वाइवल बहुत टफ है। उसके
जी।
बारे में सर आपकी गाइडेंस हमें चाहिए प्लीज। थैंक यू।
देखिए, बहुत बहुत अच्छा सवाल है और ये बड़ा वार्म हार्टेड क्वेश्चन है कि आप वरीड हैं, लोग जो हैं डिसोरिएंटेड हुए हुए हैं। मेरा ये ख्याल है कि कोई इतना डिसोरिएंट होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ना उनको ना हमें, इस फिनोमिनन पे कि भाई बच्चे बाहर जा रहे हैं। बच्चे बाहर जाएं जाएं, देर इज़ नथिंग रॉन्ग विद दैट। If they want to go study abroad, let them do that because the foreign universities are offering better quality products. Uh, if they are going abroad for better employment opportunities, so be it. Actually, help them get to better universities, or because in that way they might still hold love for their homeland. And at one point, myself is a good example. I studied and worked almost 30 years abroad, and then I came back. So some of them will come back more productive. But what we must do is improve the quality of education here. Because if we do that, then they will have less of reasons to go abroad. We should create better quality employment opportunities. And this is what we were talking today, how we could make those better quality employment opportunities for our graduates. So if we do that, then we don't need to worry about people. Some of them will be going abroad anyway, and some of them will come back to much better trained and much more productive. Like Dr. Saima has come back.
Yes. Okay, thank you, sir. So now I would like to take questions from our audience. There are a lot of questions. पहला question ही ये था जो कि हमारी जाहिर बात है, we have become very frustrated because of the situation going on, economic situation जो हमारी है। तो आपसे ये question किया था that we know the issues, but please give the solutions with implementations. And I think you have provided a lot of solutions. वो हमारी talk that was in the middle, so this question from Dr. Sana Fayaz came. In the end, जितने भी क्वेश्चन होते हैं, यू कैन राउंड अप दिस क्वेश्चन अगेन, बट मेरे ख्याल में उसके बाद की कॉन्वर्सेशन में हमारे काफी अच्छे सॉल्यूशंस भी आ गए. Then there is Mohammad Ehsan Rana. He questioned that, sir, besides macroeconomics challenge, what do you think about entrepreneurial and innovation challenges and stagnation of requisite developments in industry and private sector? Also, how can we move toward desired solutions through academic contributions?
Very interesting question. Very rich. देखिए, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप चैलेंजेस क्या हैं? मैं और आप जो है ना, अच्छी पढ़ाई करके we want to go to the market and set up a startup and make a startup business, and then perhaps be successful and make lots of money out of it. Or so that is what entrepreneurship is all about. Problem with most of the startups here is that people who get into startups do not do enough research and do not have enough acumen to actually survive in a competitive world. जो दो तरह के दुनिया के बारे में कहा जाता है, एक कहा जाता है जी ये रेड ओशन दुनिया है और ये एक ब्लू ओशन दुनिया है. ओशन दुनिया ये है कि वहाँ पे बहुत सी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं जो आसानी से मिल जाती हैं. आप वो बड़ा सेक्टर जो वो अभी वो एरिया जो है बहुत ज़्यादा राइप नहीं है इन्वेस्टर से, तो आप नए हैं और फ़ायदा उठा लेते हैं. We all look for those blue ocean opportunities. But actually, majority of us had to work and be successful in red ocean sectors where there's a large competition. There's opportunity for growth and success, but there is large competition. There is toughness. You need to be very aware. You need to be very resilient, and to be able to succeed. So I would say one thing that every entrepreneur should have is this feeling that I have found a problem, a big problem in the society, and my company and me as entrepreneur will solve that problem. So Pakistan is not short of problems. Pakistan is a great place for entrepreneurship because you have so many problems. And if you put your mind to it, if you really work hard, grind, you will succeed in solving problems and becoming a successful entrepreneur. The other day I was talking to Dave Singh CEO, Usman Asif, and is exactly this kind of questions were asked. Oh, so sir, you made $40 million in the last 20 years. How could we be successful like yourself? So they were all looking for, जिससे हम कहें कि वो लाल शरबत, बस ये लाल शरबत आपने जो पिया था मुझे हमें भी बता दें, हम भी वो पी लें ताकि हम भी उतने ही सक्सेसफुल हो जाएं. या वो जो हमारा शाहिद अफरीदी माइंडसेट है कि बिल्कुल जो है ना आखिरी ओवर तक सब कुछ छोड़ दिया जाए, फिर कोई एक शख्स आए और वो छिक्के पे छिक्का मार के ना उसको जिता दे, यानी हम जो बाकी सारी मेहनत जो है ना वो ना करें, वो आखिरी वक्त में छिक्के मार के जीत जाए. तो हमें उस माइंडसेट से निकलना है. हमने जो है ना वी रियली हैव टू ग्राइंड एंड वर्क वेरी हार्ड. There is no sharbat that can make you successful. You have to really work very hard and be very competitive. There is the Shahid Afridi mindset never. Sometime it works, but majority of the time it doesn't work. He gets out, and we are all disappointed. We don't win anymore. So that is, I think, we have to come out of it if we want to be successful entrepreneur.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Sir, एक ये question आया है, which is also very close to my heart, although I belong to higher education. लेकिन ये question बड़ा pertinent है that we always focus on higher education. What about the primary and secondary education? Because the students which come until the higher education, they lose the thirst for the knowledge. और ये तो हमने भी देखा है जब हम क्लास में पढ़ा रहे होते हैं, कुछ बच्चे बहुत अच्छे होते हैं because they belong to good schools where critical ability has been polished. And then there are students who are really struggling hard, although उनके पास शायद potential बहुत अच्छा हो. So how can we bridge this gap?
It's a very interesting question, and it's a serious issue. The quality of school education and college education is poor to a large extent, but there is a great diversity. Some are very good, and then institutions like LUMS and possibly NUST and ComSets or FAST, they get the good students, and other universities end up with taking students that are not so good. I see the problem differently. I think one should actually look at higher education, performance in higher education in terms of value addition. So if you get the not so good students, you have much greater opportunity to add value to what they were at the time they came to your institution. So we should actually be able to better measure how such values, how such value additions are measured. So we should be able to see that somebody comes from an underprivileged background who haven't had the opportunity to go to good schools, yet when he comes to us, spends 4 years with us. 4 years is a great time in a sort of most productive phase of a young person's life. Then higher education has a great opportunity. We cannot wash our hands away by saying, oh, because they had poor schooling and college, nothing can be done about it. In fact, that's where the true challenge is. That's where the true gains are.
Very true. Very true. The next question, which we have, I think you have already answered. One of the students has said that we have so much potential, we want to go abroad, but we do not know how to get the admission. And I think आपने उसका answer बड़ा अच्छा दिया है. If you want to elaborate on this, that if students are going abroad, it's no problem. They'll come back and they'll serve. Or अब तो दुनिया भी global बन गई है. There people are going and people are coming, and this is how things are working. So if you would like to elaborate on this
Yeah.
question.
Well, what all those who want to go abroad, you should not feel bad about it. You should aim that you get a good opportunity. Put yourself in a state that some good university accepts your admission. Put yourself in a state that you would study well in that university and then find a good job abroad. So there's nothing wrong in all that. What you must do is that there is no magic that will suddenly, once you will land there, and it will turn you into the most productive person and money will be pouring in. You will, if you do not prepare yourself in your studies, in your abilities, in your communication skills, in your time management, then you will be struggling there as well. You will actually miserably fail. Those who have
Exactly.
been abroad, they find how challenging it becomes. So I would say do make an effort to go abroad, apply and try to get admissions in good schools, but continue investing in yourself so that you become somebody who will flourish once you get opportunity to go abroad. There is no magic wand that will turn everything gold once you will go there.
Very true. Very true. And the crux of this question was that our education system is really very bad. So everybody wants to go abroad. And then we have, like, if you want to
We are
elaborate
working
on
on it.
this, we are working
Let's
on
say
it.
we're
Exactly.
working on it. Every
Exactly.
day, I work at least 8 to 10 hours to and not a moment goes by that we're talking about reforms that we can bring about to improve quality education. Unfortunately, there's a great vacuum in the education sector, especially in higher education sector. Not many people are actually working towards improving its quality. People are holding on to their positions and want to continue holding on to their positions and not really. But there are good people who are working towards enhancing quality of education and certainly institutes like Government College, like UMT and others, we are continuously striving to get better.
So the next question is that I think it has been asked by a student, given that percentage of passing, and then the student is asking that the passing mark, the threshold is very low, yet students fail a lot. They do not pass. Is it students' inability or the education system's inability?
Bit of both.
Very
अगर
true.
मेरी सारी क्लास फेल हो जाए तो आई हैव सम इश्यूज विद माय टीचिंग. अगर मेरी क्लास में लोग एक लो थ्रेशोल्ड पे भी पास नहीं हो पा रहे तो इट्स अ प्रॉब्लम फॉर मी एज अ टीचर एज वेल. So I think it's passing and failing is less of an issue. Is the problem of high grades, that lots of students get high grades without actually having the learning outcomes that should be associated with those high grades. I'm coming across lots of students with A grades, but not sure why they were able to get A grades. So it's sort of it's generally a problem with a education system. A good education system provides good assessment. One system that I have been thinking about in the last few weeks, and hopefully we will be able to turn around and implement it, is is very AI integrated assessment system. And once it would be in place, it would actually be able to truly test out diversity of talent and test how different learning methods can help students to get better in their learning outcomes, and thus better learning outcomes leading to better scores. It would be more objective compared to the subjectivity of semester system, and it would really be able to provide a way in which many students would come up with would have better learning outcomes.
Yes. Okay, so the next question is, I think you have already addressed it. Yet again, if you sir, if you would like to elaborate on it, and I think that very beautifully, rather, you answered it. The question is that we should introduce market-driven subjects so that we can fill in the gap between degree and skill learning. Uh, and then they have given example of healthcare, IT, but I think you have very beautifully connected social sciences and humanities with this answer, that no matter we do need it, but that doesn't mean that social sciences and humanities would be brushed away. So how would you
Absolutely.
address this question?
Well, there is what we call liberal arts philosophy of education. Many American institutions are called liberal arts institutions. And you know what they do? They actually teach you technology, they teach you science, but you also study other subjects. You also study humanities, you also have to learn one foreign language, you also study the culture, and you also study social sciences, for instance. So, and the liberal arts concept comes from the Greek time of teaching, in which the Socratic method was that each student should be familiar with common wisdom, common knowledge, should have common knowledge so that he or she could be familiar with multiple subjects and not just one subject to specialize. So in that way, so that's what we want to, and you need to study humanities, you need to study social sciences, because you want to be a better person as well. You don't just want to be specialist in a single field, but you want to be a well-rounded individual with good bit of knowledge of other subjects as well, especially arts, especially culture, literature. So that makes you complete.
So the next question is, this is a question asked by one of my students from the first semester of Global Studies Department, Suneha. She said, Assalamu alaikum, sir. How can Pakistan's higher education system be transformed to produce a skilled and innovative workforce that derives sustainable economic progress?
The whole seminar was about this. And I think a couple of things we emphasize, and I reiterate, curricula revision is very important. So we need to now teach those subjects, every subject, in a manner that we keep in mind what industry is looking for. And secondly, we need to improve upon learning outcomes of the students in a way that they become more work ready, and they become more competent to contribute to whichever sector they want to go in. One example, for instance, is there are lots of conventional subjects like chemistry, physics, mathematics. These have always been very popular subjects. So no matter how many people are studying business administration or computer science, there will always be students interested in studying physics, chemistry, and mathematics. But in the past year or so, we are amazed how drastically there's a decline in study in people becoming student of these subjects. And that is telling you something. That is telling you something, that even these popular subjects have not been able to keep pace with their curriculum development, their changes in their teaching so that students become more skillful and have softer skills to succeed in the market. So we need to do all of that, and then our students will be better prepared.
Okay. Then there's a question that universities are just providing theory-based knowledge, not practical work. So how can we introduce practical work to move forward?
Yeah, it's the universities. I'm saying कि मुझे डॉक्टर मोहम्मद इकबाल का, अल्लामा इकबाल का एक शेर याद आ रहा है इससे। अब मुझे याद आ जाए। शिकायत है मुझे या रब खुदावंदाने मकतब से, सबक शाही बच्चों को दे रहे हैं खाकबाजी का। वो बच्चे जो आसमान पे ऊंचा उड़ना चाहते हैं, हम एजुकेशनिस्ट जो हैं उनको तो जमीन में क्रॉल करने का सबक दे रहे हैं। बहुत सी चेंजेस आनी हैं, बहुत सी बेहतरी आनी है। हम तो सारे वक्त यही मरसिया पढ़ते रहते हैं कि भाई बेहतरी आनी है, और बेहतरी आ रही है, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता आ रही है। इससे ज़्यादा फास्ट पेस पे आना चाहिए। आज का लेक्चर इज ऑल अबाउट what changes we need to bring, what strategic investment we need to do in education sector so that we be more successful in our economic sector.
इसी से रेलेवेंस सर एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन, जो सबसे लास्ट क्वेश्चन भी है, वो भी यही है कि mostly teachers, they do not provide roadmaps, syllabuses are not updated, teaching methodologies are not upgraded. And because of inflation and salary gap, teachers start doing jobs in the evening. So how can we improve our education sector? And that's very
Yes.
important. And that some teachers, they don't really want to put in the effort. That's also very
Yeah.
true. As an academic, I do agree with that there
Yeah.
are such teachers. But at the same time, this economic instability for the teachers, they don't have good salaries.
Yeah. So that's another problem. We don't incentivize our good faculty much. We need to pay them better. We need to have better accountability of what they do. All of that can be done by the leadership in the universities. And many of our vice chancellors, rectors, they're busy doing that. But it's a long way to go. It will take time. You need to come up with policy reforms, and then you need to follow it up, not for just 4 years. You need to do it for 8, 12 years. And then something good will happen. I mean, I give you my example. I came very motivated. I'm still very motivated to leave the Western world and come and serve government college for 4 years. I came up with many reforms in faculty hiring, in faculty retention, in faculty training, in coming up with better research outcomes, teachers, students' feedback to be received in a better way, students admitted better, students' assessments methods to be improved. But those things take time to be implemented and be tested and revised to make them more effective. But after 4 years, I left, and it is now left to somebody else to understand and take that forward. I hope a government college will find somebody to be as pro-reform as I was. But it is the challenge that policymakers should resolve. They should give longer-term vision to a single institution, to all institutions, so that they could come up with better ways to serve the students. And those students then become our agents of change to bring about better economic prosperity.
Okay, so the next question is one of the students, again, of global studies has already asked, but you have answered it, that how industry academia linkages can promote entrepreneurs and innovation. These were early questions when you started speaking, so students are really very excited about these kind of questions. They just want to grasp immediately, and they were inquisitive. So I think Tausif sir has very beautifully answered this.
I think you should, Dr. Saima, you should bring your class for a one-to-one meeting with me sometime.
Yes, I'll
We
definitely
can
bring.
have
I'll definitely.
all these question and answers.
Yes, I'll definitely bring. I'll definitely bring. Okay, so then there is a question by Dr. Abu Bakr that regions like Bahawalpur, they are really underfinanced, and how can they achieve financial sustainability without compromising access and quality of education?
That's a great question, and that's the problem, that the universities in the periphery do not get enough attention, enough funding, enough good people to provide good policies for students. I like to think that given the access to technology becoming so cheap, and given so much opportunities that one could do digitally, that one should not be just reliant on what is being taught in the classroom, what is being taught by that one faculty member who may not have worked very hard to deliver the lectures. You have to really start looking into other ways to continue training yourself. And you will be surprised how many opportunities there are. Coursera is there now. You can follow the courses of the best universities in the world. All you need is registration and link to internet, and you could do it. Also, I like to think in the next few years, the way artificial intelligence is making it easier for us to move away from that conventional classroom model of teaching, certainly in higher education, that education would be accessible to good quality education would be accessible to a wider group of individuals across different corners of the country. So I would encourage you to yourself invest in digital platforms to get educated, but also continue looking for opportunities so that you could go to better institutions if your current institution is not delivering what you expect them to be delivering.
Okay, there are some questions. I think we have already addressed that. For example, Faisalur Rahman's question that American University, आपने कहा है कि लोग बाहर से पढ़ के अमेरिकन यूनिवर्सिटी से पाकिस्तान में वापस आकर सर्व करते हैं, लेकिन सिचुएशन बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट है और वो चले जाते हैं वहाँ स्टडी करने का मतलब है उनका मुताबिक स्टडी जो कि बहुत डिफरेंट है हमारा सिस्टम इस स्टडी को अडॉप्ट करेगा क्या सर?
Well, many of the universities are embarking on reforms to improve their quality. Certainly at UMT, we are looking into many different ways of how we can improve education standards that can match global universities. So certainly we are busy at it. It takes time, and the improvement will come about.
And sir, this is a question teacher hiring के ऊपर किया हुआ है कि contract पे teachers they are hired Abdul Rauf साहब ने किया हुआ है and then they become permanent, so many of the talented teachers they stay behind.
Faculty development, faculty hiring, faculty retention is a major issue in Pakistan. And I like to think that if we have good faculty, then we can achieve lots of good results. So more universities should put better emphasis on retaining good faculty, training them better, giving them professional growth opportunities. Certainly in GCU during my time, we started doing that. We started a new faculty development program. We started hiring better faculty. We came up with a new method altogether to identify. In fact, I wrote an article later on, which Times Higher Education published, which is quite a significant platform about how we should publish, how should we hire teachers. So that is going on, but yeah, it's taking time to see better results.
Okay, sir. There's one question which always surfaces up whenever we talk about higher education. Mode of language. Why aren't we adopting our own language? I do have my opinion on it. When people say that our education should only be in our mother tongue, should it be so that only mother tongue is important?
देखिए, लैंग्वेज तो भाई एक आपका इंस्ट्रूमेंट है. हमें उससे बड़ी चीज़ों के बारे में परेशान होना चाहिए. अगर कोई चीज़ हमें उर्दू में बेहतर समझ आ सकती है तो हमें उर्दू में समझ लेनी चाहिए. अगर किसी चीज़ को बेहतरी इसमें है कि इंग्लिश में समझें तो वो इंग्लिश में समझें. अगर आप लोग ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड में compete करना चाहते हैं तो इंग्लिश सबसे यूजफुल लैंग्वेज है. आप इससे जितना भी भागेंगे उतना अपना नुकसान कर रहे होंगे. तो बेहतर ये है कि जो भी चैलेंज है जिससे फ्यूचर में आपको फायदा हो सकता है उसको हेड ऑन मीट करें और उसे रिजॉल्व करें. तो ये तो मेरा ख्याल है कि ये कोई इतना बड़ा इशू नहीं है. अब तो चैट जीपीटी भी आपको हर लैंग्वेज में जवाब दे देता है. पंजाबी, सराइकी, अगर आप उसका पेड वर्जन जो ले, वो पता नहीं कौन सा है, O1 है कोई ऐसे करके है, उसमें आप उससे उर्दू में सवाल कर सकते हैं. वो उर्दू में जवाब देगा. जो सारी दुनिया की नॉलेज है वो आपको उर्दू में बताएगा. आप सराइकी में पूछना चाहते हैं, पंजाबी में पूछना चाहते हैं तो उसका भी उसी तरह जवाब देगा. So language is just an instrument. I think we should not get too emotional. Unless you are talking about literature, then you would say, well, I want to study literature in my own language, and that's important. We should also study literature in Persian, also in other languages, in Arabic literature. रिजवी साहब जो हमारे गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज में थे, उन्होंने अरेबिक लिटरेचर पे बड़ा अच्छा काम किया. ही वॉज इक्वली प्रोफिशिएंट इन इंग्लिश, क्योंकि उनका जो काम था, जो अरेबिक लिटरेचर का था, उसको प्रेजेंट करने के लिए उन्हें अंग्रेजी बोलनी पड़ती थी इंटरनेशनल फोरम में जाने के लिए. तो ये है कि आपने डिसाइड करना है कि आपने करना क्या है. अगर आपने पाकिस्तान में रहकर सिर्फ उर्दू ज़ुबान की खिदमत करनी है तो फिर हर चीज़ उर्दू में पढ़िए. लेकिन अगर आपने ग्लोबल competitiveness में शामिल होना है तो अंग्रेजी से जान छूटने वाली नहीं है. अंग्रेजी से भी जान नहीं छूटने वाली, मैथमेटिक्स से भी जान नहीं छूटने वाली, और आईटी आईसीटी से भी जान नहीं छूटने वाली.
सर वेरी ट्रू. इससे मैं भी सर एक चीज लिंक करना चाहूंगी, बिकॉज दिस इज अ टॉपिक ये हर बार सरफेस करता है. मेरा भी जब एक्सपीरियंस जापान का भी आया, तो जापानीज सोसाइटी इज सो एडवांस्ड, लेकिन अब उनको भी इंग्लिश, उनकी रिसर्च का ही नहीं पता चलता. व्हेन आई वेंट टू MIT, कई चीजें ऑलरेडी जापान इन्वेंट कर चुका था, बट बिकॉज देयर लैंग्वेज वाज नॉट इंग्लिश, इट वाज नॉट गोइंग ग्लोबल. अब इंग्लिश हो या चाइनीज हो, जो भी आगे ग्लोबल लैंग्वेज आ रही है, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट to learn that, to get connected. और आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि language is just a tool. और वो कहते हैं ना कि 7 साल का बच्चे तक को कम से कम 14 तक लैंग्वेजेस आ सकती हैं. एंड मोर यू लर्न लैंग्वेजेस, उतना ही ब्रेन इंटेलिजेंट उसकी वायरिंग होती है. तो लर्न मोर लैंग्वेजेस. एक ही लैंग्वेज पे क्यों रहना चाहिए? सो यू आर वेरी राइट. You're very right. Sir, एक क्वेश्चन आया वकार महमूद खान साहब की तरफ से, and he is asking, what do you think? AI tool is also adversely impacting students' critical thinking. So before you, I'm
In
sorry,
many
sir,
ways.
before you answer this question, हमारे पास 7 new questions आ गए. और हमारे, I know this is very engrossing session, और मुझे पता है कि चलता जाएगा तो 10 बजे तक जाएगा.
60
So
participants.
we
That's
are, sir,
quite
yes.
remarkable attendance. I don't mind. If you don't mind, I don't mind. I'm happy talking. And I don't get such opportunities to talk to so many students and faculty. So I'm happy talking. Let's say for another 15-20 minutes, we keep going.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. जी सर, यस सर,
सो
योर आंसर, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, एआई इम्पैक्टिंग
हाँ,
क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग।
देखिए, दो पर्सपेक्टिव है। एक जो पर्सपेक्टिव जो सबसे पहले एआई का पर्सपेक्टिव आया था ना, और मुझे याद है कि हम सुबह उठे और किसी ने मुझे बताया, मैं उस वक्त वाइस चांसलर था गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज का, कि जी आपने चैट जीपीटी देखा है। मैंने मैंने देखना शुरू किया तो वो तो सब चीज़ें वहाँ पे मौजूद थी। अच्छा, कुछ वो चीज़ें पहले से हमें पता था कि वो गूगल में भी सर्च करने से चीज़ें बच्चे इकट्ठी कर लेते थे, जो इंटेलिजेंट बच्चे थे। और लेकिन चैट जीपीटी ने तो उसे और आसान बना दिया, और फिर अब जैसे जैसे वो डेवलप हो रहा है और आसान बना दिया। लेकिन जो असल बात यह है कि हमने क्या उसका वो वाला पर्सपेक्टिव लेना है जो शुरू में हमें एकदम से फियर क्रिएट हो गया था, कि जी ये तो अब बच्चे चीट कर लेंगे, उन्हें वो काम करना नहीं आएगा जो हम काम सिखाना चाहते हैं, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग सिखाना चाहते हैं, वो नहीं आएगा। जो अब मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव हो रहा है, और ये 2-3 साल इस पे काम करने के बाद, हमें हर पर्सपेक्टिव, हर लर्निंग इससे आ सकती है। हमने सिर्फ उसका तरीका सही अपनाना है, और हमने इस बात को समझना है कि इससे जो है प्रोडक्टिविटी इन्हेंस हो रही है। यानी पहले जैसे कि हम किसी बच्चे को कहते थे जाओ ये आर्टिकल पढ़ के आओ, 3 आर्टिकल पढ़ के आओ और इसका खुलासा लिख कर लाओ। वो जाते थे, मैं मुझे खुद यह है, इस तरह के हम होमवर्क करते थे। हम उस वक्त तो फोटोकॉपियर भी इतना नहीं होता था, हम किताबों में से जो है ना नोट्स बना रहे होते थे। तो उसमें 2-3 हफ्ते लग जाते थे, और टीचर को भी पता है कि इतना टाइम लगता है। अब वही काम, वही जो समरी उसने बनानी थी, वो एक एडवांस कंप्यूटर पीछे लगा हुआ है एक मशीन के, वो काम जो है 5 मिनट में कर देता है। ठीक है ना। अब वही समरी जो उसने बनाने में वक्त सर्व करना था और समझने में उनको, वो उसका खुलासा जो है उसके सामने आ गया। तो अब वो एक मच फास्टर रेट पे वही नॉलेज जो है वो अटेन कर रहा है। अच्छा, फिर हमने जब उसे जब क्लासरूम में बुलाया तो हमने उससे कहा हमें पता है कि तुम उस टूल से ये सब फायदा उठा सकते हो, और हमने तुम्हें इनकरेज भी किया है कि तुम ऐसे टूल इस्तेमाल करो। लेकिन अब हम तुमसे पूछना चाहते हैं कि तुमने उस सारे प्रोसेस से क्या लर्निंग ड्रॉ की। तो हमारा क्लासरूम का इंटरेक्शन जो है वो डिफरेंट हो जाएगा। वहाँ पे हम इनिशिएट कर रहे होंगे वो क्रिटिकल डिस्कशन ऑफ व्हाट चैट जीपीटी हैज टोल्ड यू, व्हाट यू वुड हैव गेन्ड इट फ्रॉम योरसेल्फ। और वहाँ पे हम अंदाज़ा लगा रहे होंगे कि कौन से बच्चे जो हैं वो सुस्ती करके सिर्फ चैट जीपीटी पे रिलाई करके
हम्म। हम्म।
जो है अपनी लर्निंग ड्रॉ करते हैं। मैं इससे भी अगली स्टेज पे जा रहा हूँ। इससे अगली स्टेज ये होगी कि अब सारी टीचिंग भी एआई ट्यूटर ही कर रहा होगा, और सारी उसने असेसमेंट्स भी आपकी खुद ही करनी है। उसने सारा सिर्फ जो बच्चे उससे हमने एक सिस्टम बना के देना होगा एआई ट्यूटर को, कि उसने किस तरह लेके चलना है इन्हें सारे बच्चों को। लेकिन एक स्टेज पे हम उन्हें कैंपस में भी बुलाएंगे बच्चों को, उनका ह्यूमन फैकल्टी मेंबर से भी इंटरेक्शन कराएंगे। असेसमेंट भी उनसे शायद हम फैकल्टी मेंबर से करा रहे हों, सिट इन एग्जाम्स करा रहे हों। लेकिन अब हम जिस स्टेज पे पहुंच गए हैं उसमें हम फियरफुल नहीं हैं इस टूल के। हम इसकी पॉजिटिविटी को इस्तेमाल करके, इसके एट्रीब्यूट्स को इस्तेमाल करके अपनी प्रोडक्टिविटी बेहतर कर रहे हैं।
हम्म। सर, इसी से पर्टिनेंट देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन, एआई के आने के बाद अनएम्प्लॉयबिलिटी तो नहीं हो जाएगी?
नहीं, ये भी एक बड़ा फॉल्स परसेप्शन है कि भाई जब कंप्यूटर आया था तो तब भी यही कहते थे कि जी कंप्यूटर सब काम कर देता
हम्म।
है, तो लिहाजा अब तो। और ये हमारे इकोनॉमिस्ट को तो पर्टिकुलरली ये बात समझ आनी चाहिए कि जब आपकी प्रोडक्टिविटी बेहतर होती है तो आपका साइज ऑफ द केक भी बढ़ जाता है, आपकी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी जो है वो बढ़ जाती है, और उसमें हर जो पाई किसी को मिल रही होती है उसका भी साइज बढ़ जाता है।
हम्म। हम्म।
तो जब आपकी प्रोडक्टिविटी किसी टूल से बढ़ रही है तो ऑन द होल आपकी जो है ना एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगी, उसके एम्प्लॉयमेंट के रिवॉर्ड्स बढ़ेंगे। हाँ, एक बात होने वाली है कि जो मिक्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट है वो चेंज होगी।
हम्म
अब ये है कि वो जो खाली वो वाले काम जो कि किसी ने कहा कि जो जो काम 5 सेकंड के डिसीजन से किए जा सकते हैं, वो सारे काम शिफ्ट हो जाएंगे आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की तरफ। तो
हम्म
5 सेकंड क्या, जैसे ड्राइविंग है, उसमें अगर आपने रोकना है, मोड़ना है, उसमें आप कभी 5 सेकंड से ज़्यादा नहीं सोचते, उससे भी कम 1-2 सेकंड में आपने डिसाइड करना होता है कि अब
हम्म
एक्सेलरेट करना है, अब रोकना है, अब मोड़ना है। तो अगर तो बहुत से इस तरह के मामला जो छोटी स्केल, थोड़ी स्केल, वो बिल्कुल उसमें शायद ह्यूमन की इन्वॉल्वमेंट बहुत कम हो जाएगी। लेकिन जो दूसरे सेक्टर हैं उसमें ह्यूमन की इन्वॉल्वमेंट वैसी ही रहेगी, लेकिन उसमें मिक्स चेंज होगा। अब वो बच्चे जो कि एआई लिटरेट होंगे,
हम्म
उनको ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिल रही
जी।
होंगी। और जो बिल्कुल बस मुंह फुला के बैठ जाएंगे कि हमने नहीं सीखनी, ये तो चीटिंग है और ये है वो है, तो वो जो है पीछे रह जाएंगे।
सर एग्जैक्टली लाइक आपने कंप्यूटर की बड़ी अच्छी एग्जांपल दी। जैसे पहले स्टेनोग्राफर हुआ करते थे और
हम्म।
वो एक शॉर्ट हैंड में लिखते थे टाइपराइटर पे, फिर कंप्यूटर आ गया तो अब स्टेनोग्राफर की जरूरत होगी, लेकिन जो कंप्यूटर ऑपरेटर्स थे दे स्टार्टेड गेटिंग एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी। सर एक और क्वेश्चन है और उसके बाद एक शॉर्ट सा क्वेश्चन है, ये दो क्वेश्चंस, उसके बाद फिर विल फिनिश। एक ये कि if we'll speak English then would we be representing our culture, our nation? तो इसके बारे में आप क्या कहते हैं कि उर्दू के बगैर इंग्लिश के साथ हम अपना नेशनैलिटी और नेशनल कल्चर को कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे उर्दू के बगैर इंग्लिश के
हाँ,
साथ?
अगर कोई ऐसा फोरम होगा कि जहाँ पे आपने अपने कल्चर को, अपने नेशनैलिटी को रिप्रेजेंट करना है, और जहाँ वो आपकी लैंग्वेज समझते भी होंगे, तो कोई आपको नहीं रोकेगा कि आप उर्दू बोलें। हाँ,
हम्म।
ठीक है ना। या कोई मौजू ऐसा होगा, उर्दू लिटरेचर पे, पोइम पे बात हो रही, पोइट्री पे बात हो रही होगी, तो कोई आपको कौन रोक रहा है आपको उर्दू बोलने से। लेकिन अगर आप
सर
फॉरेन
वैसे भी
यूनिवर्सिटी में जाकर भी पाकिस्तानी कल्चर की बात कर रहे होंगे अपने टीचर्स से या फेलो
हम्म
से, यू विल हैव टू स्पीक देयर
यस
लैंग्वेज,
यस
कॉमन लैंग्वेज. So
वेरी
I think it's putting too much emphasis on this aspect. These are tools. You should be able to do all. पंजाबी भी
वेरी
बोल
ट्रू
सकते हो आप, उर्दू
वेरी
भी
ट्रू।
बोल सकते हो आप, इंग्लिश भी बोलें, जापानीज भी बोलें अगर इफ नीड भी। और फिर अपनी काबिलियत जो है दिखाएं, ना कि इसमें स्टक रहेंगे, नहीं उर्दू बोलेंगे तो मैं बोलूंगा, नहीं तो मैंने बोलना ही नहीं।
वेरी ट्रू। अगर अगले को आती ही कोई और लैंग्वेज, इंग्लिश आती है या कोई और लैंग्वेज आती है, वी हैव to depict our culture, to portray our culture, we have to speak that language, उसी लैंग्वेज में बोल के बताएंगे, वरना उर्दू में बताएंगे तो फिर तो कुछ समझ नहीं आने वाली।
हम्म।
वेरी वेरी राइट क्वेश्चन सर। एक क्वेश्चन अगेन वन ऑफ माय स्टूडेंट्स हैज आस्क्ड, a very short question बट मुझे लगता है वो बड़ा एक important क्वेश्चन है। What are our responsibility as a student to
ओह ब्यूटीफुल, या
ये छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है लेकिन मुझे लगता है ये बच्चों को, हर बच्चे को अपने आप से पूछना चाहिए। मरियम मुनव्वर है मेरी एक स्टूडेंट है, नाउ शी इज गोइंग इन सेकंड सेमेस्टर।
वेल
उन्होंने
डन मरियम फॉर आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन। मैं आपको एक स्टोरी सुनाता हूँ, और मेरे साथ मेरी अपनी स्टोरी है, उससे आपको अंदाज़ा होगा कि आपकी जिम्मेदारियां क्या हैं। मैंने सोल नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी, दुनिया की 34th रैंक यूनिवर्सिटी है साउथ कोरिया में, उसमें मैं प्रोफेसर बन के गया। उनका बड़ा महंगा प्रोफेसर था, मैं एक ही फॉरेन प्रोफेसर था उस डिपार्टमेंट में। तो उन्होंने मुझे एक कोर्स पढ़ाने के लिए दिया, सुबह 9:30 बजे से, मंडे को 9:30 से 12:30 बजे तक 3 घंटे की क्लास होती थी। फिर वो पूरे हफ्ते में दूसरे काम करता था। खैर, वो ये हुआ कि मैंने बड़े अच्छे तरीके से उसे पढ़ाना शुरू किया, और जब आपका टीचिंग बर्डन इतना कम हो तो फिर आप और ज़्यादा मेहनत करके पढ़ाते हैं। एक बच्चे ने बड़ी चालाकी की। अच्छा, मेरी आदत बनी कि मैं ना पहले से स्लाइड्स भेजता था, पहले से उन्हें रीडिंग आउटलाइन भेजता था जिस भी लेक्चर का। एक तो पूरे कोर्स का एक हैंडबुक होती थी, लेकिन मैं एक हफ्ते पहले उन्हें बताता था कि अगले हफ्ते हमने क्या पढ़ना है, किधर से मैं किस चैप्टर से क्या ड्रॉ कर रहा हूँ, कौन सा आर्टिकल है। तो उस बच्ची थी, उसने जो है ना संडे को सारे दिन बैठ के वो जो 2-3 मैंने आउटलाइन में चैप्टर बताए थे वो पढ़ कर ना एक सफ़ा मुझे लिख के भेजा कि सर व्हाट यू विल बी टीचिंग टुमारो, आई हैव read your reading outlines, and I have come up with this knowledge already
हम्म
in advance of the classroom tomorrow morning.
हम्म
संडे इवनिंग को वो मुझे आया, तो खैर मैंने उसकी बड़ी तारीफ की अगले दिन कि देखो ये स्पिरिट है कि अगर
हम्म
आपको आउटलाइन में रीडिंग लिस्ट दी जा रही है तो आप थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ के आया
पढ़
करें
के
और
आएगा।
फिर तैयार करके। और ये तो इस बच्ची ने कमाल किया कि ना सिर्फ पढ़ा बल्कि समरी भी बना के भेजी। जो लिखने की
वेरी ट्रू।
आदत है वो भी हो रही है। तो अब वो बच्चे, ये कोरियन बच्चे जो है ना, इतने competitive होते हैं कि ये सारे अव्वल आना चाहते हैं। ये चाहते हैं कि बस पूरी क्लास में कोई सेकंड आए ही ना, सारे फर्स्ट। तो वो अगले दिन, वो 30 की क्लास थी, वो 30 के 30 बच्चों ने वो आउटलाइन की रीडिंग लिस्ट पढ़ी और वो जो है ना मुझे समरी भेजनी शुरू कर दी। अब आप अंदाजा लगाएं कि शाम की संडे इवनिंग जब मैं फाइनलाइज अपनी कर रहा होता था स्लाइड्स, और मेल पे मेल आ रही होती थी स्टूडेंट्स की कि सर मैंने तो पढ़ लिया ये सब कुछ, और इसकी ये summary है, ये समरी है। तो आप अंदाजा करें मेरे पे क्या प्रेशर बिल्डअप हो रहा होता था कि
एग्जैक्टली। वेरी
ये सब
ट्रू।
बच्चे तो सब कुछ पढ़ कर आ रहे हैं।
वेरी ट्रू।
तो मेरे पढ़ने का, मेरे तैयारी करने का सारा तरीका ही बदल गया
हम्म
जब उन्होंने ये करना शुरू किया। अब मैं इस अंडरस्टैंडिंग के साथ जा रहा हूं कि ये बच्चे काफी लर्नड हैं, ये पहले
हम्म
से मेहनत करके आ रहे हैं, ये कमिटेड हैं, और ये मेरी चोरी पकड़ी जाएगी अगर मैंने सुस्ती की पढ़ाने
वेरी
में।
ट्रू।
या
वेरी ट्रू सर, आप
तो
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं।
हाँ,
आप जब थे हमारे वाइस चांसलर भी थे, तो वी हैड अडॉप्टेड दिस थिंग, और मैं स्टूडेंट्स को अक्सर ये कहती हूँ कि इफ यू विल रीड देन द टीचर विल परफॉर्म बेस्ट, इफ यू विल नॉट रीड तो उसकी परफॉर्मेंस लो आ जाएगी। यू आर वेरी राइट।
तो वो आपने जो है ना, आपने इस तरीके से सॉफ्ट मैनर में एक पॉजिटिव प्रेशर क्रिएट करना है टीचर पे।
वेरी ट्रू।
वो जो हमारे माशरे में जो उनकी असाजा की इज्जत है वो वैसे ही रहेगी, आप बिल्कुल उसको खराब ना करें, पमाल ना करें। लेकिन आप जो है पॉजिटिव तरीके से खुद पढ़ के जाएं, देखें उन्होंने क्या पढ़ाया, क्लास में बड़े मुअद्दबाना तरीके से सवाल करें, ताकि ये जो है ना वो कल्चर इस तरह का क्रिएट हो कि ये इंटरेक्शन जो है ना, इससे नॉलेज जो है वो बेहतर हो रही है। और आप
हम्म
देखेंगे कि अच्छे टीचर विल रियली अप्रिशिएट यू, एंड गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज हैज गॉट many good teachers. So
वेरी ब्यूटीफुल
don't
स्टोरी
do it.
सर।
Don't do it for every student, every teacher. Do it for some teacher, and you would feel good about your role in the whole learning process.
Very nice suggestion to the student, and this is something which I always say to the student. आपने मेरे दिल की बात कह दी है, और ये
हम्म।
मेरे ख्याल में हर बच्चे को पता होना चाहिए कि दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, कि वो भी टीचर के उस्ताद होते हैं। वी
हाँ,
ऑल्सो लर्न
बिल्कुल।
फ्रॉम देम। सो
एक
वेरी
और
ट्रू।
अल्लामा इकबाल का शेर याद आ रहा है, अगर कहें तो सुना दूं।
जी जी जी, बिल्कुल सर,
हाँ,
बिल्कुल।
खिर्द को गुलामी से आजाद कर, जवानों को पीरों का उस्ताद कर।
जी, वेरी ट्रू,
तो
वेरी ट्रू।
इकबाल कह रहे हैं कि जवानों को पीरों का उस्ताद कर, यानी आप लोग हमारे उस्ताद बन जाएं, इतने समझदार हो जाएं जब आप शागिर्द बन के बैठे कि ऐसे लगे कि हमने आपसे लर्निंग ड्रॉ करनी है, तो फिर कमाल होना शुरू होगा।
हम्म सर, अब ये हमारा लास्ट क्वेश्चन था, बट एक क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा है, डॉक्टर समरा का है, एंड देन वी आर रैपिंग अप। हम सब विल टेक ऑनलाइन ग्रुप फोटो, और आप एक फॉर्म का लिंक शेयर किया गया है, प्लीज डू डू गिव द फीडबैक। आपको ई सर्टिफिकेट्स भी दिए जाएंगे जो भी पार्टिसिपेट करें। वी आर वेरी हैप्पी। अब टाइम अप हो गया तो 54 पार्टिसिपेंट रह गए, अदरवाइज वी हैड about 100 participants, which is a very very good number, particularly for any online meeting. और सर, ये क्वेश्चन मैं जरूर लेना चाहूंगी। डॉक्टर समरा कॉलेज एट होकनियाज बेग लाहौर पे, she's and this was a question which was in my mind as well and got skipped, and she has asked
हम्म,
very pertinent question. I have a little concern about the education disparity between university and college. Do you think a
हम्म,
need of policy to research oriented college journal, or even otherwise, मेरे ख्याल में कॉलेज की लेवल यूनिवर्सिटी जैसा कैसे, क्योंकि दोनों बैचलर्स करवा रहे होते हैं, कई
हम्म,
जगह
हम्म,
मास्टर्स भी करा रहे थे, सो हाउ कैन दैट।
बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, और मैंने पूरा एक आर्टिकल लिखा हुआ है इस पे, जिसमें मैंने पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी को बड़ा क्रिटिसाइज किया हुआ है कि उन्होंने कोई 300 कॉलेजेस को एफिलिएट किया हुआ है और कोई तवज्जो नहीं देते कि वहाँ पे क्या स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं और किस तरीके से वो उनकी मदद कर सकते हैं। ये एक बड़ा डिस्टॉर्टेड सिस्टम हमने इंट्रोड्यूस किया हुआ है कि एक ही यूनिवर्सिटी बहुत सारे कॉलेजेस को एफिलिएट कर लेती है और फिर जो है वो सही मायनों में स्टैंडर्ड्स, और फिर जब से शिफ्ट हुआ है कॉलेज की एजुकेशन में, यानी कॉलेज में जो बीएस की एजुकेशन सेमेस्टर सिस्टम करके दी जा रही है, उससे और चैलेंजेस आ रहे हैं। तो ये एक सीरियस प्रॉब्लम है जिस पे मैंने लिखा भी है, मैंने बात भी की है बहुत दफ़ा फोरम्स में कि जो एफिलिएटेड कॉलेजेस हैं वो अच्छा स्टैंडर्ड मेंटेन नहीं कर पा रहे। लेकिन दैट सेड, कॉलेजेस को खुद भी थोड़ा बहुत जो है ना इसमें इनिशिएटिव लेना चाहिए। जैसे गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी भी एफिलिएशन देती है, और हमारे मुश्किल से 20 या 30 एफिलिएटेड कॉलेजेस हैं। हमारे पास बहुत सा भी स्कोप है कि हम और एफिलिएटेड कॉलेजेस गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज के बने और वहाँ के अच्छे साजा से फ़ायदा उठाएं। ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हर कोई जाके पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी की एफिलिएशन ही ले रहा हो। तो और इसी तरीके से बहुत से अच्छे स्टैंडर्ड्स जो हैं कॉलेज अपने तौर पे अडॉप्ट कर सकते हैं, ख़ासतौर पे जब अब डिजिटल वेज जो है ना आ गए हैं, और एचईसी जो है बहुत सी प्रोविजंस करता है कि आप डिजिटल सिंक्रोनस और एसिंक्रोनस लेक्चर्स जो हैं वो उनकी मदद से अपने स्टूडेंट्स को बेहतर करें। तो कॉलेज प्रिंसिपल्स का भी बड़ा अहम रोल है कि वो अपनी फैकल्टी को अच्छा इंसेंटिवाइज करे, अच्छा ट्रेन करे, उनको परफॉर्मेंस इंडिकेटर्स उनके अच्छे तरीके से मेजर करे, तो बेहतरी आ सकती है।
Thank you so very much, sir. It was so wonderful listening to you. Again, I would request एक form share किया गया है. Please do give your feedback. We have learned so much, and we always learn from sir a lot whenever we have his company. Please, you can turn on your cameras if you want to. If you don't want to, you're sitting in a very comfortable mode. You cannot. So you would have one online picture. Because Pakistan Economic Forum wants to share it on their platform to show that, you know, we are there and we had very fruitful discussion. Or again, thank you so very much, sir. It was
Thank
pleasure
you to
having you.
everyone. I'm really happy to connect with you all. Please don't mind if I have said something harsh. The intention is good. I want to see education sector performing better, and I want to see reforms happening, and more students benefiting from good quality education in Pakistan.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir. Thank you
Okay.
so very much. Thank you, sir, for
Thank you.
joining. It
All
was
the
pleasure
best.
having you. Oh, thank you,
you.
sir.
Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you,
You may
sir.
leave now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Irfan. I would like to become member of the Economic Forum, Pakistan Economic Forum. So let me know how I could do that.
Sir, I will connect you and we will make a collaboration, inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Irfan Saab. It was a wonderful session. Thank you, everyone. We may leave now.